In the ancient kingdom of Umueze, cradled by the rich, fertile valley, tradition and the spiritual realm guided every aspect of life. The people believed in the power of the ancestors, in the guiding hands of the spirits, and in the prophecies passed down through generations. One such prophecy was etched into the kingdom's history. A child born under the light of the full moon will bring either eternal peace or endless sorrow to the land. The kingdom was ruled by King Obinna, a just and wise man, and his beloved wife, Queen Ifunanya, whose connection to the spirit world was revered by all. Their love for each other and for the kingdom was unwavering, and the people of Umueze prospered under their reign. But the prophecy lingered in the minds of the royal family, for they had no child, and the kingdom anxiously awaited the birth that would either save or doom them all. Unknown to the inhabitants of the kingdom, including Queen Ifunanya, a shadow of deceit lingered within the heart of King Obinna. The grand hall of the royal palace, bathed in the warm glow of torches and adorned with intricate tapestries depicting the kingdom's history, concealed a secret that no one dared to voice. King Obinna, though publicly devoted to his queen and to the well-being of his realm, abhorred a grave secret. In the dead of night, when the kingdom was enveloped in stillness, and the moonlight cast ghostly shadows on the palace walls, King Obinna committed an act that would lead to serious consequences. King Obinna had sought out a young maiden. She was pure and innocent, chosen by the gods for her virtue. To her, the palace was a place of wonder, unaware that it would become the stage for a troubling event. Far from the prying eyes of the court, the palace now witnessed an act that will alter the kingdom's fate. King Obinna, driven by hidden intentions, committed an act of significant impropriety. The once serene space became tainted with a sense of wrongdoing, the very air thick with an unsettling energy. This serious breach was more than just a personal failure. It was a challenge to the divine order. In the ancient traditions of the kingdom, such an offense was not merely an individual fault, but a disturbance that threatened the balance between the gods and their people. The gods, known for their profound justice and strict retribution, would not overlook this violation. As the first light of dawn appeared over the horizon, the kingdom stirred with its usual activity, unaware of the hidden trouble brewing within. Queen Ifunanya, enveloped in her hopes for the blessing of a child, was completely unaware of the ominous shift that had begun. The palace, with its bustling courtiers and vibrant celebrations, masked the brewing tension. The gods, whose presence was felt in every whisper of the wind and the rustle of the trees, had already begun to respond. The skies darkened as if reflecting the breach of sacred traditions. Rituals that had once been performed with reverence and anticipation were now overshadowed by a somber undertone. The sacred shrines, left untouched by human hands, began to show signs of neglect, signaling the gods' discontent. King Obinna's actions, though concealed from his people, could not escape the cosmic balance. The much anticipated blessing, so eagerly hoped for, was now overshadowed by the looming response from the gods. The kingdom, once a symbol of hope and prosperity, now stood on the brink of a divine reckoning, its fate intricately tied to the king's serious transgression. After many years of prayers and rituals, the queen finally conceived. On the night of a brilliant full moon, Queen Ifunanya gave birth to a daughter, Princess Adanna. The kingdom rejoiced, believing that Adanna was a child of peace, foretold in the prophecy. However, in the shadows, the royal spiritual advisor, Chief Ikenna, knew the full extent of the prophecy, which had another, darker warning. Should the king or the queen fail to stand in purity or offend the gods, the child's heart will be torn by betrayal, the land will drown in sorrow, and the kingdom's future would hang by a thread. Despite these ominous words, Adanna grew up a beautiful, intelligent, and headstrong woman. She was adored by her people and trained in the ways of leadership by her father, while her mother taught her the wisdom of the ancestors and the spiritual tradition of their people. Adanna was bold, compassionate, and filled with the energy of youth. She believed deeply in love, seeing it as the most powerful force in the world, capable of overcoming any challenge. When Adanna turned 18, the kingdom was preparing for a grand celebration to mark her coming of age. It was during this time that she met Amadi, a dashing young warrior from a neighboring village. Amadi was brave, strong, and possessed a mysterious charm that captivated Adanna from the moment they met. She found herself irresistibly drawn to him, and their love blossomed and flourished quickly with the intensity of 1,000 suns, with a passion and intensity that swept Adanna off her feet. What Adanna didn't know was that Amadi carried a dark secret. He was not just a simple warrior. He was a prince in exile from a once powerful kingdom that had been wronged by Adanna's grandfather. Amadi's family had been dethroned, forced into exile, and his father has sworn vengeance upon Umueze. Now, Amadi had returned, not as a lover, but as a tool of revenge. His sole mission to destroy Umueze from within. Adanna, however, was the key to his plan, and through her, he would gain access to the kingdom's most sacred secret. Against the wishes of her parents, who sensed something was amiss, Adanna defied royal tradition and secretly married Amadi in a hidden ceremony under another full moon. Their union was one of deep passion, and Adanna believed that their love would bridge the divide between their peoples. She trusted Amadi with all her heart, convinced that he, like her, was committed to peace and unity. For a time, it seemed that their love was indestructible. But beneath the surface, Amadi's loyalty to his fallen family tugged at him. Though he had developed genuine feelings for Adanna, his hatred for her family and his desire for revenge burned deeply within him. The conflict between love and duty tore at his soul, and soon his true intentions began to surface. The kingdom of Umueze had long been protected by a powerful sacred relic kept hidden within the royal palace. This relic, said to be a gift from the ancestors, safeguarded the kingdom from invasion and misfortune. Amadi's true mission was to steal the relic and leave Umueze vulnerable to attack from his hidden allies. And so, on the night of a grand feast to celebrate Adanna and Amadi's union, the betrayal began. While the kingdom celebrated, Amadi slipped into the palace and stole the relic, spiriting it away to his waiting comrades. When Adanna discovered that the relic was missing, she confronted Amadi, only to find him standing before her, the truth written on his face. In that moment, her world collapsed. The man she loved, the man she had trusted with her heart, had been deceiving her all along. His love had been a lie, and she was merely a pawn in his quest for vengeance. Adanna's heartbreak was palpable, and the prophecy's dark warning came to fruition. Her sorrow unleashed a curse upon the kingdom, as the bond between the relic and the land was severed. Famine swept through the fields, the rivers dried up, and the people of Umueze, once prosperous, now faced devastation. The ancestors, angered by the betrayal of their chosen child, turned their faces from the kingdom, leaving it vulnerable to attacks and ruin. Adanna was forced to watch as her people suffered and her kingdom crumbled. Her parents, King Obinna and Queen Ifunanya, were heartbroken, overwhelmed by the siege on their prosperous kingdom. They collapsed and joined their ancestors. Her love for Amadi, once so pure, had been twisted into a weapon that brought nothing but pain and sorrow. She was torn between hatred for him and the lingering remnants of the love she once felt. Amadi too was tormented. He had succeeded in his mission, but at a cost he had not anticipated. The ancestors of Umueze, enraged by his betrayal, began to haunt his dreams, filling him with guilt and confusion. His feelings for Adanna, once part of his manipulation, had grown into something real, and now he was caught between his loyalty to his family and the love he could no longer deny. In the face of this tragic tale, Adanna and Amadi faced each other one last time. The kingdom was on the brink of collapse, and Adanna had a choice to make: to banish Amadi forever under the light of the full moon and break the curse, or to forgive him and seek another way to restore the kingdom. The ancestors, watching from the spirit world, remained silent, leaving the choice entirely in her hands. Amadi, now fully aware of the consequences of his actions, knelt before her, He confessed that he had once been consumed by revenge, but that his love for her had changed him. I have been a fool, Amadi confessed, his voice breaking under the weight of his remorse. Consumed by vengeance, I lost sight of everything that mattered. My love for you, Adanna, changed me. I cannot undo the destruction I have wrought, but I am ready to give my life if it may bring in peace to Umueze. Tears streaming down her face, Adanna stood, torn between love and duty. Her heart ached with the weight of her decision. Would she forgive the man who had destroyed everything she had there? Or was vengeance the only way to heal her broken kingdom? In that agonizing moment of choice, Adanna's resolve hardened. The pain of betrayal and loss was too deep, a wound that had festered beyond healing. In that moment, she made her choice under the radiant glow of the full moon. With a heart shattered by sorrow, she cast Amadi into eternal exile, banishing him from the kingdom that had once been their shared dream. The curse upon her kingdom was lifted, but the prize was a love consigned to their base. As the sun set on Umueze, its once vibrant life, now a silent witness to echoes of a glorious past, Adanna stood alone, now a queen, burdened by sorrow and haunted by the visions of choices she has made, found herself ruling over a land that had crumbled into decay. The tale of Adanna, King Obinna, and Amadi, of love that turned to ruin, and the steep price of wrong choices, became a legend passed down through the ages. The story spoke to the hearts of those who heard it, a reminder of the profound truth that love, intertwined with the choices we make, has the power to shape destinies. It resonated as a timeless echo of the human condition, where the battle between good and evil is often waged not on distant battlefields, but within the depths of our own hearts.